has a tight bicep. We want to stretch out her bicep. We've been trying to do static stretching and really not been getting anywhere and all that fun stuff. So now we want to try and use a PNF technique. Okay? First one we're going to try is hold relax. Okay? Hold relax simply means that we're going to hold her in a position while she tries to contract her muscle, and then we're going to have her relax and passively move her into more motion. Okay? But we're going to contract, the muscle that we're going to have her contract is the one that we want to stretch. So knowing that, what type of inhibition do you think we're going to utilize with hold relax?
Autogenic.
Autogenic. Okay? So we want to stretch the bicep with hold relax, PNF technique, utilizing autogenic inhibition by stimulating the GTO. Now we can do that without a contraction. You can come in here and right at that musculotendinous unit, you can try and stimulate the GTO if you want to. Or we want to stretch the bicep. So say she's right here, we want to get her as much extended as possible. I'm going to have her resist me and contract that bicep for 5 seconds. Okay? So hold an isometric contraction for 5, 2, 1, and relax. And now I'm going to increase the stretch. Excuse me. And the theory or the thinking is that we've stimulated that GTO. It can now, it's kind of been overstimulated, if you will. We've worked it a bunch, and now it really wants to relax, and so we're going to let it relax, and it's going to allow, it's not going to guard as much, it's not going to be working as hard anymore, and so now it's going to allow us to take her into a farther stretch. Okay, so again, hold relax. We hold an isometric contraction of the muscle we want to stretch, and then we for 5 seconds, and then we have them relax and passively take them through the motion we want to increase. Okay? Make sense? Yes?
Do you want to hold like a static stretch after you do that? Or is it just kind of take them to the
Yeah,
end range?
so you'll take them to the end range and then you'll hold that static stretch for 5 seconds. Or usually you'll do this in repetitions, and so you'd do the 5-second contraction, lengthen it out, hold it for 5 seconds. Right there at the new position, hold isometric contraction again for 5 seconds, relax, lengthen it out. And then once you get to a point, let's say we start here, we stretch her out, we do it, we stretch her out, we do it, we stretch her out, and we barely get any more movement, then I'm not going to bother doing any more, and I'm just going to hold that position for upwards of 30 seconds. Okay? Good question. So that's hold relax. Now, contract relax. I'll just briefly go over this. It's very similar to hold relax in that the muscle that I'm trying to stretch, I'm going to get an isometric contraction out of it. The difference is that I allow for rotation to take place with contract relax. Okay? So if I'm trying to do contract relax of the bicep, I'll get that isometric contraction, but then I will allow her to do some either supination or pronation at the same time. So I'm still staying at this 90 degrees or wherever elbow flexion, getting an isometric contraction, but then allowing or telling her to do either supination or pronation. So I get a rotational component in addition to just isometric contraction. Okay? That's true contract relax. Like I said, you're going to get in the clinic and people are going to use these interchangeably all the time. I guarantee it. Know full well that the majority of the time they're just talking about or asking you to do a hold relax. Okay? Because everybody forgets what contract relax is. And they forget about that rotational component. I'll be honest, there's a handful of therapists that I know and that I've worked with or met or seen who really know the difference. I haven't talked with Craig about it, and so I don't know
Yeah,
where
I kind
you're.
of touched on the rotational component in lecture. I would think so the bicep one, because the bicep is a supinator, I would think if you're gonna allow it, and you're trying to do an isometric of that, you'd probably start them in pronation and then allow them to move into supination. Because if they go back the other way, that's the opposite of that muscle's action. And so I think if you're truly trying to get that isometric contraction that's then going to facilitate more range, then we'd have to allow it to move in its normal motion while resisting the other plane of that motion.
Here, and then relax here.
Well, no,
They're
keep the
not
elbow
doing a
extension,
full-
keep the elbow the same, because we're trying to get an isometric of the bicep, but allow that rotational component that the bicep assists with, that supination, to take place, but not change the elbow angle. Does that make sense?
Can you show us an example, please? Like,
Beyond just the bicep, yeah, sure. So say she's here. I'm gonna start her in that pronated position. I want you to contract against me, so pull up towards your. So we're getting an isometric contraction, but then I'm gonna allow her to do that supination as well. For those 5 seconds, now relax. And then pull her farther into it.
So you just tell
And then I
her
can
to do the
start her in
rotation.
pronation again.
And then it might be one where after you let her relax, then you're gonna put the stretch back into that pronation extra range that you've got too. Get a little more extension range, but then also get a little bit more pronation range, and then you can do another rep where again you keep the elbow more extended, but still allow that supination to take place, and then move back a little bit more extended and more pronated.
Okay.
Makes sense?
So are you still adding resistance